Hello, Stranger Things fans. Let's talk about what happened on season 5, episode 4, the mini season finale, or series finale, really. It's called The Sorcerer, and a lot happens, so bear with me. Um, it shows Max with Holly. They're in the cave. Max has gathered a bunch of toys and items to make this cave her sanctuary. But some of these items already were in the cave, she says, but she don't know who had them there, right? And you come find out she's telling Holly that she's trapped in the upside down. Like her mind is trapped there. There's like her astral form. And Henry is playing games with her. And Holly says, "What do you mean?" She said, "Mr. Watson, aka Henry, aka Vecna, is evil, pure evil." She said, "He'll open a portal showing Lucas at the hospital by my body," she said, "because I'm in a coma. And every time I go to exit that portal, he'll close it shut, chase after her. And she keeps running into like different scenes of like a memory of his life from when he was a kid, growing up with his parents, to when he was taken away from the military and used his powers. And he was studied upon, to when 11 supposedly killed him, but instead sent him to the upside down dimension, to now. And she's trying to piece everything together, right? And she says he's basically toying around with me and thinks it's a game, a twisted game. But for some reason, he won't enter this cave. He freaks out, is terrified of this cave, and we don't know why. And that's about their journey. At the barn, Will's team of Will, Lucas's sister, Winona Ryder, his mom, Robin, Murray, and I know the Demogorgon is on its way. And Derek is woken up for the tranquilizer, and they try and tell him, like, hey, shit's about to hit the fan. Vecna's evil. And he's like, who's Vecna? He's like, Mr. What's it's Vecna. He's like, well, who the heck is Vecna? And they're like, look, Mr. What's it's basically an evil person, blah, blah, blah. And he ain't hearing none of this. He said, no, he's promised to protect me and some other kids. I'm like, whoa, some other kids? Yeah, so not just you and Hall. He's like, no, there's like a bunch of us. But I don't know who these other kids are. And he said he has plans for us and save us from the monsters. And then Will says, yeah, well, this monster is about to come through the door, and like the barn doors again smashed open by the Demogorgon, and it's shown up. He said, that's Mr. What's its pet to monster, one of them. And it busted through, and Derek's like, holy crap, that face ugly. That's hilarious. He's comical, right? I like him. His character. He's going to have some comedy relief to this show. Now, the Demogorgons about ready to attack them. Ryder's about ready to finish it off with an axe. Suddenly, out of nowhere, Steve with his car just runs that thing over, sends it flying into the air. But I noticed nobody else saw this. Will goes down and he's hurt. He felt what the Demogorgon felt when Steve hit the car. Like, okay, that's a connection right there, right? They're somehow connected, like a hive mind. They're going to be calling it. I bet you. The Demogorgon gets up. It's hurt and enters a portal into the Upside Down. Steve, Nancy, Jonathan, and Dustin decide now's a chance. Let's follow that thing with the tracker in the Upside Down Hawkins world. Find Vecna, kill him once and for all. Find Hopper 11. They go through the portal before it closes. And then they're in the Upside Down version of Hawkins, some of the town, and they're at the cemetery. That's where the portal opened up, and Steve hits that monster wall. So the monster wall that 11 Hopper found 2 episodes ago, there's another one at the cemetery. And Steve's car just hits that thing and it's stuck. So they're like, whoa, like what is this monster wall, right? And the Demogorgon went through, but we can't get through. And they're trying to reach Hopper and 11 on the walkie-talkie, and it works. And Hopper's like, look, can't talk right now. We got something going on. Just stay put. We'll find you there. Just stay there. And they decide not to wait for him. They decide to venture and try to find out if this wall has an end. But they keep going, walking by, and this wall just keeps going like this long. Then Dustin realizes, hey, we're close to the lab that the military had those 12 kids, remember? and they experiment on him, maybe that's where Vecna's hiding. Maybe we can find some answers. So they decide to ignore Hopper's command of staying put at the cemetery, and they venture to the lab, and that's it for their journey. Hopper and Eleven's journey upside down. They find the military base, and then it shows Hopper hanging up like the walkie-talkie antenna, so he just got off the thing with dust in there. And they decide to infiltrate the base because they believe that Vecna's inside being held hostage by the army. So 11 uses her powers and her training skills, scouts over that fence wall like nothing. And Hopper, he's like, yeah, well, I gotta take my time getting over. That's hilarious. And they sneak inside the lab, and there's a doctor there, and Hopper orders him to open that door that Vecna's supposedly inside of on the other side. He says, I don't have access to it. Only Dr. K does. And Hopper says, where can we find her? And then suddenly, out of the walls come those like satellite dishes, and they new sound waves, and 11's frozen again. She can't move. Suddenly, that soldier that they captured last episode and fought, he died. He didn't die. He wakes up, and it shows his quick journey of getting back to the base. And he tells Kay, like, Hopper and that kid's here. So then Kay, that soldier, and a couple other ones bust through the lab doors. A gunfight ensues. Hopper just mows down all of the soldiers except for Kay and that one they had captive. He fights him off, hand-to-hand combat, and takes him out. Then suddenly, Kay releases that tentacle monster she has locked in a cage, and it wraps around Hopper like an anaconda snake. And she says, you know, it took me a while to learn how to control this thing. You'd be amazed what it can do. She said, especially, she said, when you don't weaken it by heat. And Hopper is like struggling to get free. She said, it thrives in the cold. And she turns the dial, and it gets colder in the lab. And the tentacle monster, it just like expands its tentacles, more pop out. And it's just got a strong grip on Hopper. Sonny 11 is able to move again because during the gunfight, the satellite dishes got damaged. So she's able to move again. She stabs Kay with a pair of scissors. They fight. Hopper able to use his foot, hits the dial, breaks it, so it goes from cold to hot. And hot weakens the tentacle monster. And let's go Hopper, and he just knocks Kay out big time with the butt of his gun. And 11 says, okay, let's finish this. Let's kill Vecna once and for all. Hopper decides to reveal what was in that wall for the very first episode of this season. It's a bomb vest. He's decided he's going to go commando style and take out Vecna. He said, I'm going out in a blaze of glory with him. And he shoves 11 aside and closes that door behind her and locks it. So 11 is struggling to use some powers because she's weak, right? From those machines. And the door won't budge, and she's yelling for Hopper, don't do it, I need you. He enters the room, and he's ready to blow up Vecna. Then all of a sudden, the door opens, and Hopper says, it's not Vecna, but you guys see who it is. Holy crap, fans, it's number 8. The other kid that survived the massacre, Hawkins Labs years ago, when Henry went evil and killed every other kid except for 8 and 11, the only 2 that made it out. Holy crap, I've been wondering since season 2, where the heck happened to number 8? Last we knew about her and her crew, way off in a city somewhere, were like robbers, and they kept getting away from the police because her powers are, she can create like mirages, like, you know, if you're in the desert and you see a mirage and stuff, she can create those to fool the police, right? It's like when one episode there, back in season 3, 2 there, when they high-speed chase, she makes a mirage that they turn the vehicle off down this road, and the cops follow that mirage, and they get away. That's how she uses the powers, but we never know whatever happened to her. Somehow the military got a hold of her, and has held her in this room, and she's like, got tubes sticking out of her, she's chained up, those machines on around, keeping her frozen. And she wakes up, and 11's like, sisters, right? Because they call themselves sisters when they first met. So holy crap! I hope they explain how they got her, what happened to. Like, have a mini episode of just her journey. I'd love to see an episode that's showing what happened to number 8 since season 2, how she got captured with the military, why they were losing her, and why they have her all like chained up and tubed up in this hidden room. And then it shows the last story arc. Will, Lucas, Mike, all of them. They find out, because Will saw through the eyes of the Demogorgon as it went through the monster wall and running by it, showed these cocoons. There's 12 cocoons. Holly and 2 other kids are in these cocoons, and they got like tentacles shoved down the throat, like, and it's pumping something into the bodies. So Will paints all this on the barn door, and it shows the mind frayer as well. That was the Easter egg shown there. And Will says there's 12 cocoons. He needs more kids. There's 3 there. Where's the 9 other kids? We know Derek's one, right? So Derek at this point is like freaking out. The monsters are real and stuff. And they finally convinced him that Henry, Mr. Whatsit, is evil, is actually Vecna. So they decide, let's find these other kids and save them. Then Mike and Lucas show up and say that as they were leaving the other group in the Turntone house to tell them what was going on, and they get caught up with anything happening. Anyways, they came across a busload of kids being transported by the military, and they're taken to a base in Hawkins. So they're like, okay, why are they taking kids? And they're like, they put 2 together. They know Vecna's after certain kids, 12 of them. He's gotten free. There's 9 more. So they know somehow what Vecna's after, what the game plan is. They decide to sneak in the military lab, free the kids, find out some answers. They bust in for the lab because they have those underground tunnels they dug, and one of them actually leads to where the base is, and it's in the bathroom stalls, and they bust their way through one of the stalls on the ground, and Derek sneaks his way into the base and talks to these kids like, hey, do you know Mr. Whatsit? Hey, do you know Mr. Whatsit? And some of them answer him, some don't. So by that way, he knows who these other kids are that Vecna's selected. So one by one, he's taking them into the bathroom. They're escaping, but they get caught. The military starts questioning them like, hey, what you doing? Suddenly, the alarms are going off. Freaking portals open everywhere. And Vecna and the Demogorgons attack. Awesome way to end the mini-series finale with a major fight scene. Soldiers again destroy left, right, center. They take out a lot of Demogorgons, but there's too many of them. Eventually, the soldiers again massacred. Vecna's like upgraded. He's got like, battle armor, spike veins going on around his body. He's killing soldiers. And he sends Demogorgons after Lucas, Robin, Murray, all of them, basically. And then he sees Will. But during this gunfight, it shows Will's point of view. Every time a Demogorgon is killed or hurt by fire, he's in pain, right? He's in agony. He's hurting. And Vecna uses his powers and drags Will forward. He says, before I kill your friends, you're probably wondering why you're feeling this way. You're connected to us. Do you think that I didn't know you were using your powers to spy on me and my pet monsters? I knew you were spying all along. I let you think I didn't know. He said, you were my first chosen child. I give you a sample of my powers to groom over the years, right? But he said, but you broke free. You're weak. You're pathetic. You're no good. And he tosses Will aside with his powers. As Vecna leaves through the portal, he orders the Demogorgons to capture all the kids he wants. He said, I have plans for these kids. You'll find out soon enough what my master plan is. And I'm going to shape the world the way I want it to be. And he leaves through the portal with the kids. But he leaves Demogorgons behind to kill Will's friends. Will suddenly, his eyes turn white, folks. He has powers that Vecna, remember, said he'd give them some of his powers. Will has manifested these powers, and he sends the Demogorgons up in the air. And you remember how Max, how her bones were cracked and broken last season? Same way they do that with the Demogorgons. It's awesome. His eyes are pure white, and he's got powers like 11. And Vecna that. And he has manifested these powers. So Vecna should have stayed, man. You should have realized, well, could tap into these powers now because his friends were in trouble. That's what activated them. He's finally not afraid no more. He's standing up for himself and his friends. He's badass now. But I'm thinking, is Vecna going to go after Will now and try to recruit him again? Or is he somehow going to be able to control Will because Will is connected with Vecna and the Demogorgons, right? Like a hive mind, and maybe he could turn Will evil that way. And holy crap, 8's captured, and now she's going to be free by Hopper and 11. Hopefully they explain what's going on there. What is Dustin, Steve, Nancy, Jonathan going to find? They find the lab, and they go inside, but that's how the journey ends. What's in that lab, right? What are they going to find? Some answers? Some stuff they don't want to find, maybe? There you have it, folks. Before I end the video, got a blind bag. Where I live at, they had a bunch. They had like a whole display of these things, but I guess I'm not the only one collecting them because they only have one left. So hopefully get some more. Let's see what I got. So far, I've gotten 4 out of the 12. There's no doubles. And I got, let's see here. Oh, I got my first double, folks. I got out of Ice Cream Shop Robin. She got thumbs down, that's right. Thumbs down because I got my first double. Oh well, it's bound to happen, right? So hopefully, like I said, they get them back in stock at the store I get them at. If not, I know at a location of the same store where I live at that's miles away. I might have to convince her there to get some more. Maybe I have to stock up on these, right? Before the other people around collecting them get them. There you have it, folks. Stay safe, everybody. Have a great Christmas coming up. Enjoy it with your loved ones and family. And let me know below in the comments what you thought of this mini-series finale and Will's powers. And what do you think that Steve's group's going to find in the Hawkins lab in the Upside Down version? Hopefully, maybe, I got my fingers crossed, it's Eddie. Because remember, Dustin again won't say how he escaped those people beating him up, those bullies. Maybe it is Eddie. And he's at the lab. That'd be awesome. Way to bring Eddie back to the show. Stay safe, everybody. Too sweet. Bye.